in terms of the team, lots of new signings have taken this trip as well. They're early in pre-season. What are your hopes for the season ahead?
Well, I'm hopeful we'll do extremely well. I mean, certainly a lot better than last year, although we finished well. But if we can take the last month of the season into the first month of this season, which often is the case when you've finished well, then that would get us off to a good start. And we've got to be looking, obviously, for a top half finish. I'd like to feel we're getting to the top six, and I'd like to even think we could be one of the top two. I know bookies have put us up there, I think, as second favourites. I think that's probably right, bearing in mind the investment we've made this year. But I've been around this game too long to sort of predict things. I think we need to go out and have a good season, get the fans behind us, as we talked about team bonding earlier, get everybody working as one, and let's just push as hard as we can between now and next May to achieve success.
Yeah, the second half of the season form was almost playoff form. Aside from results, what has Steve Cottrell brought to this club?
Well, I think he's brought enthusiasm and just an energetic approach. I mean, one of the reasons we changed was we everything was just drifting along. We weren't getting anywhere. We were accepting mediocrity. And I couldn't see that going on. I mean, that just couldn't continue, because otherwise the club would just got worse and worse. And I think what he's done is he's come in, he's livened us all up. He's created basically a passion within the club, and he's got us all focused on doing things in the right way. Right down from sort of making the teas, designing the ties, and anything else he can lay his hands on, really. But he's a born enthusiast, and I think that's really what he's brought to the club, and it's been great.
Even the team coach now.
Even the team coach, yeah, and nobody's actually mentioned the Bristol Sport coach that everybody came up on. But again, that's an element of what he's brought to it. He was insistent that players travel a lot. They need the right comfort to travel in, and so we've taken him up on that, and we've invested, and I haven't seen it myself yet, but I understand it's pretty good.
It's very nice.
Good.
Bristol Sport, you mentioned it there. In layman's terms, in a quick fashion, what is the aim of Bristol Sport as far as you see it?
Well, I think everybody gets it all muddled up. Bristol City Football Club is Bristol City Football Club, and Bristol City Football Club is there to be successful playing football, professional football. Bristol Sport is a company that I've put in between, if you like, myself and the football club, and for that matter myself and the rugby club and the other investments that we're involved with, to manage those arrangements. So what does Bristol Sport do? It looks at the commercial side of what we're doing, it looks at the financial side of what we're doing, and makes sure we're doing things in the right way, gets the right people in place. So it's all part and parcel of managing the job properly. Within the football club, we have John Pelling, who's the chief executive. John is, his main brief is to make sure everything to do with football, whether it's making sure that the playing contracts, the facilities that we play in, our training ground and development of training ground, all those aspects to do with football, the scouting, the recruitment, all that aspect of things are done properly. So he has a narrower brief, if you like, than what maybe people have had in the past, but that means he can really concentrate on it.
People have said about the Bristol Sport bus, the Bristol Sport shop now. I think they fear Bristol Sport Stadium, Bristol Sport FC. It's not going down that route, is it?
Well, to be honest, Alan, yes, it will do, because Bristol Sport is the brand that I'm putting forward. But Bristol City would have its own identity, as will Bristol Rugby, as will the Bristol Flyers. They have their identity because they have their identity in that sport. The whole purpose of Bristol Sport, quite simply, is that if you look at Bristol City Football Club, I mean, we get average 12,000 people, maybe 13 or 14 if we're doing really well and a bit higher. That's not enough to sustain a successful football club. Bristol Rugby, in the same manner, is 4, 5, 6,000. That's not sufficient to sustain a professional rugby club. But if you bring all those two together and use the synergies of all those clubs and market them together as the City of Bristol, if you like, as Bristol Sport, and they're key components of Bristol Sport, then you can generate a lot more, and that's the aim of the exercise. So the stadium is key. They're sharing the stadium going forward. So everything we can do, every basically bum on seat we can get at the ground, and ticket we can sell, every bit of advertising we can get, every bit of sponsorship we can get, that's being ploughed back into the sport, and for those clubs to benefit from it.
But would it still be Ashton Gate? Would it still be Bristol City FC in the future?
It'll still be Bristol City FC. Ashton Gate will be there. Whether it will, somebody will come and pay us lots of money to call it something different, I don't think that'll happen. I always see it being known as Ashton Gate. Bristol Rugby will be Bristol Rugby. I mean, no identity is changing. The fact is, Bristol City Football Club has existed since 1897, and before that, if you go into the pre-time, pre-Bristol City time, it will continue as Bristol City Football Club for the next goodness knows how many years, and it will play its football at Ashton Gate. Nothing has changed.
Still playing in red?
Still playing in red, yeah. I still tease people. I still want them to, get a blue away kit. But I'm not going to let that drop because everybody keeps niggling at me with it, and I think it's a good bit of banter.
It's white for this year. In terms of the kit as well, do you see that as crucial? Obviously, Bristol City, Bristol Rugby. We had Adidas for a number of years, Puma before that. What are the benefits of changing to Bristol Sport now?
Well, let's be fair, Adidas let us down. So I mean, we've had our times with the professionals, if you like, of the sporting world providing us with a kit, and we get a standard kit, and we're treated as second-class citizens, quite honestly, and they charge us a lot of money, and there's not much margin left in it for us. So again, this is one of the synergies of having the club. So now we've got the Bristol City and we've got the Bristol Rugby support and the Bristol Flyers support. We can afford to go out and generate and make our own kit and sell it and create that margin for the clubs, to benefit from. So it's got to be right, and we can design it in the fashion we want to design it. So I think, the reports I've seen back from people's impressions of the kit this year, they're very, very pleased with it. Nobody's commented on the quality yet, but I think from what I can know of it, it's pretty good, and we're conscious of all the criticisms we've had in the past. So again, it's an example of how Bristol Sport brings all these clubs together.